With the launch of Episode Revenant, the Garden of Salvation raid got a loot refresh, craftable weapons, new perks, and a memento. This guide will be split into multiple parts: an overview of the weapons, how to best farm these weapons, tips and DPS strategies, and then a quick refresh of each encounter and their challenge. Feel free to skip around to find what you need. To start, you need to know if the loot is worth chasing. I'll give you my PvE recommendations in addition to having all the perks on screen so you can decide for yourself. On all of these weapons, you have the new origin trait, Photo Inhibition, which is similar to the Shield Disorient perk. Deal increased damage to combatant shields and overshields, breaking the shield disorients the target, and matching the element of the weapon to the shield will also disorient nearby enemies. Unfortunately, the perk isn't working correctly at the time of recording. Garden also got a raid memento, which you get from Hawthorn in the tower after you complete a no encounter wipe run, meaning you first tried each encounter. You are limited to earning 1 a week, can hold 3 at a time, and they give crafted or enhanced weapons a custom Vexy shader, kill tracker, and title. Looking at these weapons individually, you have 7 to chase down. Reckless Oracle is a void rapid fire auto. Most will gravitate towards the Destabilizing Rounds Repulsor Brace combo, but my eye is on Paracausal Affinity, which is only present on it and Root of Nightmares raid weapons. This is a 20% buff when you get any light aligned weapon or ability kill, perfect for light subclasses and prismatic. Accrued Redemption is a kinetic precision bow. You have Archer's Gambit to increase your DPS through fire rate, or Kinetic Tremors to cause shockwaves with only 2 arrows when enhanced. Zealot's Reward is a void rapid fire fusion. While it does have perks like Controlled Burst and One for All to help with damage, the left column's perks focus more on utility, like autoloading holster, attrition orbs, or destabilizing rounds. Ancient Gospel has returned now as a void adaptive hand cannon instead of solar. To complete its Kindled Orchid cosplay, you can go for the Rampage Kill Clip combo. Otherwise, Demolitionist or destabilizing rounds with explosive payload or kill clip for a simple workhorse hand cannon. Sacred Provenance is a kinetic aggressive burst pulse rifle. If you never got your Brave Blast Furnace god roll, this might be an easy substitute. Rapid hit kinetic tremors are One for All, Demolitionist Frenzy, or maybe Desperate Measures in your ability spam builds. Prophet of Doom is an arc precision shotgun. While PvP players will be intrigued as a craftable Matador replacement, PvE players get something for DPS or utility. Envious Arsenal with Cascade Point, Reconstruction with 1-2 Punch, or Air Trigger and Volt Shot. Lastly, we have Omniscient Eye, a solar rapid fire sniper. Envious Arsenal or 4th times the charm to help with reload downtime, paired with Vorpal Weapon or Precision Instrument. Now to farm all this loot, you want to start by heading to Hawthorn, the clan vendor next to Ikora in the tower. There you can obtain the weekly Deep Sight Signal quest, which upon a full completion of Garden will immediately reward you with a deep sight weapon whose pattern you still need, and unlock the ability to purchase weapons from Hawthorn. The first weekly weapon purchased will also be Deep Sight. Do note that the quest, Purchase Deep Sight, and Memento are limited to once per week per account, and Deep Sight Harmonizers can only be used on non-red border encounter drops, not from repeat Hawthorn purchases. To prevent issues of getting the raid Memento, make sure you all launch Garden as a full fire team, don't leave or swap characters during the raid, and immediately go to Hawthorn upon the raid's completion. As to the best practices for farming weapons, you want to look at each encounter's loot pool and do whatever the active encounter challenge is for an extra drop. Garden is unique in that each encounter only has 3 potential drops, with set weapons and armor. Specifically, you have the bow and fusion in the first encounter, auto rifle and shotgun in the second, pulse and hand cannon in the third, and sniper in the fourth. If it is the weekly featured raid, you can complete each encounter and challenge indefinitely for repeat drops. While you could focus on farming the encounter you want the loot from the most, I recommend just doing full clears. The raid is easy and quick, roughly taking 30 minutes with an experienced squad. Less of a hassle trying to juggle checkpoints IMO. As for the challenges, first and third encounters are by far the easiest and don't really require coordination or changing strategies. Leftovers tasks you to not kill the pair of Cyclopses that spawn in the room the Consecrated Mind is currently in. So just jump around and don't use auto-targeting abilities that might accidentally kill them. Third encounters to the top challenge requires you to deposit 10 motes at a time. So to buy players time to get enough motes, have one person immediately run to the active relay at the start of each round to kill or push away spawning Vex. And also try to delay depositing motes until absolutely necessary. The other two challenges require a lot more coordination, so if you want a refresher on them, follow the timestamps on screen. Before you go, if you don't need the in-depth refresher, let's go over some tips, bugs, and DPS strategies. For the first encounter, it's all ad clear with a couple overload champions sprinkled in. If you can't get your angelic to spawn, that means something is still alive, probably a hiding hobgoblin or lone cyclops. At present, the improvised explosives model from the gunpowder gamble aspect blocks the tether from linking correctly, so don't use that aspect until it is fixed. In the second encounter, remember you have 2 barrier champions at the non-starting relays and will have 3 angelics appear at each relay once you have activated them all. For the third encounter, supers and abilities that push the boss, like Twilight Arsenal and Nova Bomb, can make the boss's movements erratic. Either be prepared for that, or focus on weapon-only DPS. Having someone on Divinity helps make the boss's crit easier to hit, while other players can use weapons like Sleeper, Leviathan's Breath, Whisper, or heavy grenade launchers. Just remember to move up into the alleyway after damage starts so you don't get stuck behind the Vex wall. For the fourth encounter, you can use the same weapons for damaging the boss. To simplify the damage phase, you can opt for only stunning the boss once. This should still make it a comfortable 2-phase. The most important thing is to not use anything remotely AoE or auto-targeting near the boss. No Hellion, Bleakwatcher, Arc Soul, Jolts, Incandescent, Tangles, etc., because those will destroy the boss's weak points, which you don't want to do accidentally, otherwise your motes team will get very angry. Now onto the raid refresher. This first section will go over all the mechanics. The tether mechanic involves you connecting the starting point, players call the tether box or cube, to an endpoint that looks like a plus sign. Shooting the box activates it, linking all nearby guardians together with a tether. While tethered, you can only move and jump. The max distance of a functioning tether is expressed when it changes from white to orange. If there's a white shield around the tether box, that means there's an angelic hydra nearby. Once you kill all of them, the box will become unshielded. In each encounter, the tether is used for something specific. First encounter, it is used to remove Vex walls. In the second, it is used to activate relays and give players the Enlightened buff. In the fourth, it is used to bring back sections of the floor the boss takes away and to stun the boss to trigger the damage phase. The Enlightened buff allows you to shoot enemies with white shields, which otherwise would be immune. The shields only take 1 point of damage to break, and they never come back, so prioritize removing all the shields first before finishing them off, especially if you're running low on the buff. You get this buff every time you tether to the relay in the second encounter, and whenever you deposit motes into the associated relay in the third and fourth. The relays are Vex constructs you must protect and fill with voltaic motes. Vex will try to sacrifice to them, and if done successfully, they will drain 5 motes. Each relay starts with 10, and if there are none left, the relay will detonate and wipe the encounter. In the second encounter, relays can be refilled by tethering to them. In the third and fourth encounter, you will fill relays with 30 additional voltaic motes to complete them. Voltaic motes are similar to the ones from Gambit, as they drop on the ground when you kill certain enemies and can be deposited at relays. Unlike Gambit, you can only hold 10 motes at a time, and they are counted as a buff with a timer. If the timer runs out, you lose all the motes you were carrying. Refresh the timer back to 1 minute by picking up an additional mote. In the third encounter, these drop from Malignant Minotaurs and are deposited at the active relay. In the fourth, you'll get motes off of all enemies that appear through the portal, but those motes will have a certain affinity, either light or dark. You can only deposit light motes into the light relay, dark to the dark. Lastly, Voltaic Overflow is the pile of white Vex cubes created by the Consecrated Mind that acts as a debuff and wipe mechanic. Once on the ground, it'll detonate and wipe the encounter after 5 seconds. Just walk through it to pick it up, and then you'll see it as a 2.5 minute debuff. If you pick up another one while you have the debuff, you will die. Additionally, if multiple people are close to each other when they pick up the Voltaic Overflow, it can give everyone the debuff. The first encounter tasks you to dive deeper into the garden by opening Vex doorways and avoiding the consecrated mind. Split into 2 teams of 3. Start the encounter by tethering and opening the initial Vex wall. Note that the tether boxes you find in this encounter can be in one of 3 locations in each room. Team A will stay with the boss and pick up the voltaic overflow that spawns, while Team B will head into room 2 to open the next wall. Kill everything, including the Cyclops, to spawn the angelic. Then tether to the Vex wall and swap roles. Team B now babysits the boss in room 2, Team A will leapfrog over Team B and open the wall in room 3. Rinse and repeat. Room 4's wall has 3 locks. Once the first lock is completed, the boss will teleport away and allow all players to group up at the wall. Finish the remaining locks and then run through the Field of Flowers, making sure to go fast to pick up the 3 voltaic overflow that will spawn. For the first encounter's challenge, Leftovers, you cannot kill the Cyclopses that spawn in the room the Consecrated Mind is currently in. These are the pair of Cyclopses that spawn after you kill the Cyclops in the room with the current Vex wall. Not a difficult challenge, just jump around and use cover. I advise against using auto-targeting constructs like Hellion and Bleakwatcher so that they don't accidentally destroy the Cyclopses. The horde of Cyclopses in the Field of Flowers at the end are fair game, but it is more fun to just avoid them. For the second encounter, you are tasked to activate and defend 5x relays to draw out the boss. Assign every player a role. 4 players will each be tasked to guarding a specific relay, the other 2 will be runners, going between relays to help retether to refresh players' enlighten buffs and to defend the relays. The strategy I recommend is have runner and defender 1 stay at the starting relay to defeat all the enemies and tether up, while everyone else runs to relay 2. Defeat its angelic and 2 barrier champions, tether up and leave defender 2 at that relay. Then repeat. Keep advancing as a squad until you have left a defender at each relay. During this, Runner 1 will use the Vex teleporters to quickly move between active relays to refresh Enlightened. Once all outer relays have been activated, you move to the defending phase. Angelics will appear 3 at a time at a relay. Runners will help kill them and refresh buffs, defenders guard their relay. Once all 12 Angelics have appeared, 3 per relay, the wall towards the center will go down. Everyone meets up in the middle, defend that relay, and tether up multiple times after defeating all the Angelics. For the second encounter challenge, A Link to the Chain, all Guardians must receive the Enlightened buff at the same time, meaning you all need to sync up tethering to the relays. Timing, coordination, and strategy are key. If your second encounter strategy is what I just discussed, you can do the following to satisfy this challenge. In the beginning, all Guardians tether to Relay 1, and then split like before. When the 4 Guardians are ready to activate Relay 2, Defender and Runner 1 will get ready to activate Relay 1. You can sync this up by all standing in a line at the appropriate length to tether, and then give a countdown to both teams shooting the box, or leave 1 player out from each tether, start the tether, and then have them both run in at the same time to complete the chain after the countdown. Once done, 3 players go to Relay 3. When they are ready, have Defender 2 go back to Relay 1 to tether with that 3-person team. 3, 2, 1 tether, then continue. Once the team of 2 are ready at Relay 4, everyone else goes to Relay 2. Give another countdown, and tether again. For the defending phase, you'll now tether in groups of 3 once you defeat your Relay's wave. You need to tether quickly, as if you're too late and unlucky, the Angelics can show up and block your tether. Once you have dealt with the 3 Angelics at a given relay, that relay is now permanently safe to use to tether. And then once you move to defend Relay 5 in the center, make sure everyone still tethers up. In the third encounter, you're tasked to destroy the Consecrated Mind. To do so, you'll need to fill one of the 4 outer relays. It'll be randomly chosen at the start of each round, signified by a callout in the kill feed, the location of the first Malignant Minotaur, and with a giant pillar of light. Split up into 2 teams of 3. Team Gambit will be in charge of getting motes from the Minotaurs, depositing at the relay, and then staying there to defend that relay until the next person with motes comes and relieves them. Simple strategy is 5-10-10-5. Player 1 will get the first and last set of 5 motes, players 2 and 3 will get 10 motes each. Team Boss will be babysitting the Consecrated Mind to give Team Gambit enough time to get motes. follow the boss into one of the 4 side lanes and pick up the Voltaic Overflow. Doing so will cause that player to get trapped. To free them, have everyone on Team Boss help shoot the 3 red eyes on the extended fins that only the trap player can see, either the inner ring of eyes or the outer ring. All non-trap players will see all 6 eyes as red. Recommended weapons are SMGs, auto rifles, or machine guns. To give Gambit Team more time, have one of the players that will be getting 10 motes pick up the first Voltaic Overflow. Once the relay is full with 30 more motes, everyone will group up at that relay for damage. Shoot all the eyes to open the crit, then fire away. Note, you need to do a good chunk of damage quickly to fully stun the boss, otherwise he'll wipe you. Additionally, you need to move up into the hallway, otherwise a Vex wall will spawn, locking you out of damage. After 20 seconds, the damage phase ends. Rinse and repeat. For the third encounter challenge to the top, you need to deposit 10 motes at a time into the relay. So, Mote's team strategy is now 10-10-10. To buy time and prevent enemies from sacrificing, I highly recommend one player immediately run to the active relay while the first player gets their 10 motes. While there, you can kill enemies if you are enlightened or physically push them away. Be aware that once they start sacrificing, only killing them will stop it. Once people have motes and can deposit, you can extend time by delaying when you deposit if you can safely keep the enemies away from the relay. On subsequent rounds, the initial defender needs to go quickly to the relay as the enemies spawn faster. Lastly, the fourth encounter tasks you to defeat the Sanctified Mind. To trigger the damage phase, you need to fill 2 relays with at least 30 motes each. Light motes for the left light relay, dark motes for the right dark relay. Obtain these motes by shooting the weak points on the boss to spawn a portal. Shoulder spawns the dark right portal, leg spawns the light left portal. Every time you destroy a weak point, it also spawns a Cyclops and takes away a floor tile, denoted by an electric orange grid on the ground. Being there when the floor disappears or reappears will kill you. For my recommended strategy, divide yourselves into 3 teams of 2. Team Floors will be in charge of repairing any missing floor tile and defending the relays. Both Gambit teams will be tasked to go through the portals, get all the motes, and deposit them at the appropriate relay to fill them up and get the Enlightened buff. I recommend completely filling one relay first, as that will prevent enemies from sacrificing to it. To start, kill all the enemies and the Angelic. Once the weak spots appear, have Team Gambit 1 shoot the shoulder, go in the dark portal, kill all the enemies, and pick up all the motes. Once they have everything, Gambit 2 will shoot the same shoulder weak point. Gambit 1 will get teleported out so they can deposit at the dark relay. Gambit 2 will go in the new portal that spawned. Once Gambit 2 has all the motes, again shoot the shoulder crit, get out, and deposit at the relay. The dark right relay should now be full, so go repeat for the light left relay. Shoot the light crit to spawn the light portal, Gambit 1 goes in, gets motes, comes out. Gambit 2 goes in, gets motes, comes out. While all this is going on, those Enlightened should prioritize de-shielding the enemies, so Team Floors can help kill them in between repairing floors. Once both relays are full and the glowing endpoint appears by the boss, use the aligned tether to connect the relay to the boss to stun them. Either then all group up and commit to a single break damage phase at the other tether, or you can tether again using the other relay during damage to extend the phase. For the fourth encounter challenge, 0 to 100, you must fill both relays within 10 seconds of the initial deposit. To accomplish this, you'll instead have a team of 2 each go into the light and dark portal simultaneously. Get all the motes, but don't exceed 9 per Guardian. The reason being is you'll need to refresh the mote's buff timer, which can only be done by picking up another mote. I also recommend leaving one mote on the ground that you'll immediately pick up as you ask to get pulled out so that your mote's buff has maximum time. Once both teams of 2 come out, the solo players will each go in a portal and get 10 motes. Solo players come out, duos go back in and get their 10 motes. You'll probably want to get one immediately to refresh your timer. Once everyone has 10, the duos get pulled out and everyone meets up at their respective relays. Give a countdown and start depositing, with the solo players starting off since their time will be the lowest. While all this busy work was going on, you'll have to try to repair floors. Or just live without them. And that's your ultimate guide to the Garden of Salvation refresh. If you have any other tips, questions, or strategies, leave them in the comments. What I listed was just what my clan does, but that doesn't mean it's the only option. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, subscribe for more Destiny content, and come check out the Sundog Gaming Discord if you want to learn some raids or give Garden a spin. As always, I am your Commander Pika. Be kind, have fun, and I'll see you on the battlefield.